Hey, Zach, how is it going? Merry Christmas to you.
Oh yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and
Yeah,
yours.
yeah,
Yeah, it's all right.
yeah.
Pretty
It's all
good.
right. It's all right.
It's pretty good, honestly.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
yeah. All things considered, yeah, things are, not bad. I had to work Saturday, which was weird. But we got dumped with about 3 feet of snow close to. Some places got more. Some places around here got like 42 inches or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute insanity.
We don't have snow like that yet. We had rain today.
Oh, fun. Yeah, it's actually snowing outside right now,
Mm-hmm.
which is because, we really didn't get enough in one snowstorm. We didn't, wasn't nearly enough to get dumped with like, you know, 34 inches of snow or however much was actually out
Mm-hmm.
in our area. But yeah, absolute insanity. But,
Yep.
well, we're having a white Christmas. That's for sure. Around
Well,
here.
so what do we have here today to talk
Well,
about?
well, today it's again we're doing this little thing called Season of Giving on the channel, and basically we each pick two films that the other hadn't seen, and we're going to talk about it and review it. It's a nice chance for those of us who have watched the film before to kind of rewatch it, re-enjoy it, get a new, fresh pair of eyes on it, and for the other to experience it for the first time. And that's kind of the whole point, is just trying to share the experience of movies that we love. At least this time around. Maybe in the future it won't necessarily be films that we're like super keen on or whatever, um, but this is definitely a movie that is very dear to me. And yeah, that movie is Howl's Moving Castle. So Zach, you had not seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
I had watched this. As I was watching it, it was kind of reminding me. I think the first time that I saw this movie was during my gap year in between college and high school.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, it was the first time I had a disposable income, really, because I was working the whole time. And during that period of time, there was a Borders that was right next. I was working in a Price Chopper, a supermarket, and I there was a Borders right next door. Before Borders went under, obviously, and they had a very large selection of anime at that period of time. And so, knowing that Studio Ghibli has a very reputable name, that was sort of the beginning of my love affair with anime. Was kind of through that. Well, I wouldn't say that's the very beginning, but definitely helped me pick,
So is this like
purchase
your
things
first?
there.
Is this the first Studio Ghibli film you saw, or?
It was not. The first one I saw was actually on TV. I saw Spirited Away,
Of course, yeah.
and I saw part of Princess Mononoke on TV as well. They're both. It was a month of Miyazaki that Toonami did back in like 2006 or something like that, to celebrate his birthday. And the Spirited Away was the only one that I saw the full thing of. But so, talking with friends, I know a lot of people that I had known at the time really liked Howl's Moving Castle. That was their favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would say that necessarily. It's my favorite one. There's other ones that I think I hold in higher esteem, but this one's definitely very special,
Mm-hmm.
as being one of the earlier ones. Um, and one of the first, I think it was one of the first films that I showed my parents that it was like a Studio Ghibli film,
Mm-hmm.
and they both really loved it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
See, if I'm being honest, it wasn't one of my favorite Studio Ghibli movies. I don't know what it was about it, but I thought it was pretty good, but I wasn't like blown away by it.
Hmm.
Like I feel like I haven't seen that many Studio Ghibli films. Honestly, I saw Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, Princess Mononoke, Secret World of Ariete. But I honestly kind of like. I think this might be my least favorite of the Studio Ghibli I've
Oh
seen.
damn! Even more than Totoro. Even more than Totoro. Was it a
Totoro,
little kids movie?
Totoro, maybe. Yeah, I'd have to
I,
rewatch
I, I
Totoro
actually I
because
actually I actually love Totoro. I'm not gonna lie, I love that film very
Totoro
much.
like was another one where it was like people talked it up so much, and it was like, I mean, it's not. It
It's a
wasn't
slice
bad.
of life film,
Yeah,
really.
for me,
Because
like
there's basically no plot to Totoro.
for some reason, like the Secret World of Ariete worked so much more for me. I don't know why, but I just really clicked with that movie. Yeah, but this is, I mean, it has some cool stuff. I just didn't, there weren't a lot of characters that I was super into. Like Hal is kind of like a little bitch boy sometimes.
Wow. Okay. Jeez.
But
You
I just
you
don't
weren't
get him.
charmed.
Like, I don't
You
get
weren't
the
charmed
appeal
by the
of
wizard.
Hal.
Okay.
Like, and I didn't get their whole love story thing, you know?
So this was based on a book by I think it was Diana Wynne Jones. I think this was the one that was based on
Mm-hmm.
her book, or and she's written several. But the film is very different. Like a lot of these, I mean, like Ponyo is based on The Little Mermaid. It's
Mm-hmm.
not really that similar to The Little Mermaid at all. But all the characters are definitely from sort of that. This is a movie I think that is better the more times you watch it. Because I was picking up on more things this time than the first time. Because I will say that the latter third of the movie is pretty confusing.
Mm.
Um, just because there's like a lot of stuff that kind of happens in quick succession,
Yeah.
and it can be kind of hard to sort of like to really like
Process it.
suss out what's going on, you know? Yeah, and process it. So
A lot of kissing in the end.
yeah,
A
there's a
bunch
lot
of
of kissing.
kisses going around.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of smooches, little smooches.
What
Yeah,
the freaking turnip head.
turnip head.
She
Yeah,
just kisses him and he's like, and he's just, hello. And then it was like, you needed your true love to kiss him.
yeah.
And then she's
His
like,
true
oh,
love. His
well,
it was
she's
his
just-
true love. He
yeah,
needed his true love to kiss.
that's messed up.
Yeah, that's
So
too bad.
she
Huh?
was his true love, but not her true love.
Yeah, that's right. That's a
That's
pretty well. I mean, that's the thing. That's a horrible curse, right?
Right.
Isn't that a terrible curse? You know, it's because it's not necessarily shared.
Yeah, well, yeah, they always, but the idea of true love's kiss, so I thought was always a reciprocated. I thought that's what true love was, right? It's like your true love.
Not necessarily.
It's like your one.
Maybe in another time in another place, she would have fallen for Turnip Head because Turnip Head was just what a nice guy.
He
You know, he was kind
He
for
was a
the
nice
entire.
character, yeah.
Yeah, he was kind for the whole time.
And she kissed,
Great.
and she kissed Cal at the end as well. She kissed Howl, obviously.
Yeah,
A lot of
she even
kisses
kissed
going around.
the witch
She
of the waste.
kissed the
even.
witch too. Yeah,
Yeah.
nasty looking thing. She's so repulsive.
Yeah, yeah. So
Especially, I like how she kind of transforms over time. Like, there's the first half where she just sits and all her folds come out and everything, and then she's like sweating up the stairs. It's a disgusting.
she looks
creature.
like she's aged like 50 years.
But then she's like the second half. She's just kind of like the nice little, well, not nice, totally, but she's just kind of there. Got her little face going on.
hmm
She's like almost looking a different form.
Well, that's the thing that I really like about this film is that a lot of the characters are complicated. There's no like Howl is the obviously romantic love interest, but he's not really like he's definitely like you said.
What's the
he's a
point
little
in
bit
life
of
if I can't be beautiful?
he's spoiled. He's a kind of a I mean, yeah, there's really no other word for it. I mean, yeah, he's just a spoiled kid in some aspects, you know.
So why is she in love with him? I
And
just don't get why you're in love with him. I just don't get.
because even that's not the only facet of his character.
Yeah.
He's definitely charming. I mean, I mean, when they first met, he was obviously he kind of swept her off her feet, literally, because they went skywalking. That was kind of cool.
This guy will.
But you can see that he's kind. He does have a kind heart. He's got a kind of a dark side too, a little dark edge where he's like going around and killing. You know, he kills stuff. You know, when he's off doing his own thing, trying to be a neutral party in the war, but not really being successful at really doing much of anything. So, he definitely has. He's not as sure of himself as he puts on.
I wasn't a huge fan of Hal himself. And I hate the witch. I still hate the witch, even in the
Well,
end.
yeah, she's yeah. I mean, and well, that's the thing. Is just she's
How,
a complicated character too.
but how
Is
you
that
gonna?
like
How does she have a kind heart? Like she kissed her and said, "You got a kind heart," but she was. It took a lot of convincing to
because she
give that thing up. She was like,
yeah, well, that was because that was like her whole existence. It's like hundreds of years have been, or I don't know about hundreds, but many years of trying to foist Howl's heart from him, and
"But she's a freak. She cast that spell on her just for the heck of it." And then she was like, "I don't know how to reverse the spell."
right, but didn't the but the whole but the spell ended up being what Sophie needed to grow up, kind of, because she was sort of she didn't know that, no, but that's the whole point of the way magic sort of curses in sort of the story sort of work is that, like, or I guess the moral use of them in the terms of the story is that it's basically learning to adapt, learning to take what life has given you, which is not fair whatsoever, but using that to sort of mature and grow, and that's sort of reflected as to when Sophie breaks the curse at the end of the film. Her hair hasn't changed colors. She still has the white hair of age to show that she's grown, but she's and that she's matured, but not necessarily that not necessarily in a she's not cursed anymore. Obviously, she's returned to youth. So, just she still learned a lesson.
Well, what did Turniphead get out of his curse? Did he get something out of it?
I mean,
Got a
sure,
raw deal out of it.
He did get a raw deal, but he got to go back to his kingdom and stop the war, because the whole reason he was cursed was he was put out there to sort of, and this is something that maybe wasn't clear, but he was cursed by Solomon to basically start this war between those two opposing countries. Yeah, so Solomon cast the curse on him to basically start this whole war, and that's why this whole war is like happening to begin with, because they think that one side thinks, oh, you must have kidnapped and killed the prince, and then the other side is like, well, no, and how dare you say such a thing? You're obviously rah, rah, rah. This is all behind the scenes. You never get that directly like told to you. So voice cast though.
Mm-hmm. The only one I know is Christian Bale.
You didn't know Billy? You don't know Billy Crystal?
Oh, is that Cal?
That was Calcifer. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, voice cast is great in this.
Yeah, I just knew the name. Christian Bale was attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I really knew.
Mm-hmm. I think he did an excellent job too. I know I've talked to some people that aren't overly keen on his performance in this, but I actually really like it a lot.
Your hair looks like Starlight.
They just don't think his voice fits Howl, but I think it works. I like it.
Very soft spoken.
Yeah, and to me that sort of gets across his sort of kinder demeanor.
What's the point of living if I can't be beautiful?
Well, I mean that's his. Yes, he does say that at some point.
Do you like the quote?
And he's also punished.
Do you like the quote? Your hair looks like.
Your hair looks like starlight. Yeah, I do.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of corny.
Yeah, it is corny because it's like a fairy tale ending.
But True Love's Kiss is the fairy tale ending, and then he didn't.
It is, but it didn't. Well, that's too bad. Okay, so what did you like about the films?
I like the animation, of course. Studio Ghibli, great animation. I love the look of the castle itself, how it's all moving around. Looks really nice. Calcifer is easily the best thing in this movie. I love Calcifer.
He's got a lot of great lines for sure.
I like the little quirks here and there, like how Hal would like break the eggs and chuck them in Cal's mouth.
Yep.
I really like the rapey guys in the beginning.
You really like that?
That was a really nice touch. I don't remember like in another Studio well, I guess I haven't seen that many, but another Studio Ghibli film where it's like really rapey guys involved. Um,
Yeah, they
there was
were
like a
for
lot of
sure.
rapey guys.
A lot. I mean, there was those two
It
at the
was it was
beginning.
two. Oh yeah, I thought Howl was rapey at first.
Oh,
That's why when he first
okay.
came in, because I didn't know that was Howl. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like what.
I just like I get it's like what just because he helps her out
Well,
at the beginning.
he takes her into the sky. Well, like they just met,
Yeah.
and he's like,
He's a wizard. He can do that kind of stuff. Yeah.
okay. I thought there was someone else rapey in there though. You said there were so
I'm
many
trying to
rapey
think.
guys.
I'm
That's a
trying to
note
think
that
of
I wrote.
I'm trying to think of who else.
Um,
I mean, I just like so something another thing that I really like that's unusual for a story like this is that we're following an old woman basically.
mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, she's technically not. But how many like fantasy adventure stories do you have where an old woman is the
Yeah.
is the heroine and she's the one that falls in love? I mean, again, it's a curse, so obviously there's some
Mm-hmm.
stretching of that idea, but I've always really liked that concept. It's just so interesting and unusual, and and the film really does a lot to like emphasize like yeah, she's an old lady, like she's having trouble walking, she's like when she's like moving around, um but she eventually sort of, while she accepts that that's a part of herself or that's a part of her, I just love the different, like you said, the attention to detail. I think is one of the things that I like a lot about the film is that you sort of see at the periods of time where her own self perception starts to fade or
Mm-hmm.
re-age, and so there's a lot of moments where she all of a sudden she's really young and then she gets kind of older again, just as
Yeah,
through
yeah.
through the conversation. And it's really great, and I really like that a lot. I think at times the sort of like my kind of so what can oftentimes be sort of my critique of like what they try to do in films where a woman is sort of the lead is it ultimately ends up being like the story of, oh, you're actually like you're thinking way too down on yourself, but you're actually just the most awesome person ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like so don't think low of yourself because you're just so awesome, and like that's what they have to learn about themselves, that oh, there's nothing wrong with them after all,
You're
they
great
were
just
just
the way you
awesome.
are.
Yeah. I don't always like that because I think it can be a crutch, and I find that that's often. I mean, I just don't like it when a story does something like that because what are you learning? It's like, uh, in one aspect, yes, I think it's good that one realizes that they should have a better self perception of themselves. But if it was just that, like Sophie doesn't learn anything. If it, I'm comparing other movies that do that to this,
Mm-hmm.
whereas to she definitely learns to take responsibility and yeah, she doesn't necessarily think as low of herself, but it's a lot of personal growth in terms of actually taking charge of her own life uh, instead of just I'm not pretty. No, that's too bad. It's like no, well, I'm not pretty, sure, whatever, but at least I can do something. I can take care of this house. I can clean. I can be basically a mother figure to like multiple people in the house, and basically Howl too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How did she get into that house and then say, I'm your new cleaning lady? Like, wouldn't Hal know if he hired a new cleaning lady?
so Howl knew that was her the whole time.
Okay.
So do you remember at the end of the film, or towards the end of the film, when she sort of has that sort of dream like sequence where she
Oh yeah,
goes
yeah,
back in
true,
time?
true.
She actually goes back in time there.
Yeah,
So that's why
and
Howl knew.
tells her, yeah, to look out for her.
Yeah, and
Mm.
that's why he knew who she was the whole time.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes
So
sense. But
yeah, so he just accepted that she come
well,
in
how did
because
she? I don't know how she accepted that would work though. Just like I'll say that you hired it. I'm the new cleaning lady you hired, even though you didn't hire me.
well,
It was
Calcifer also
interesting.
was like Calcifer just sort of went with it too
Yeah,
because of their deal. So um
yeah. it says it is interesting. It frames the whole movie differently afterwards.
Yeah, because then you also get little bits and pieces why why is Calcifer listening to her? Why is Calcifer listening to her? That's because Sophie already has Howl's heart, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Is Calcifer being more or less an entity that has subsumed his Howl's heart. The reason why he would ever listen to her is because that she is basically the bearer of his heart. That's who Howl has been waiting for his entire life.
So
basically.
how? At what point does she go back? Like, for that timeline to work?
When he was a kid. So remember, so they visit the childhood home.
Yeah, I knew she went back there, but how did she get to the point where she could go back in time?
It was magic through the door. There's basically no other explanation other than it was magic through the door. Led her to that moment. Love, magic, both of those things kind of there's never really an explicit explanation as to how that happens, but that's.
Yeah, I'm just trying to rationalize it now. I hadn't thought of it before. I'm like,
yeah,
freaking time travel.
Yeah, it's very simple time travel. I'm glad it wasn't overly complicated because, yeah.
Okay.
It's magic. It's love and magic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Interstellar. It's love.
I haven't seen that.
Well, it's love. All right.
Next Christmas.
Just know about that. It's love.
Okay.
Yeah, the music, obviously, an extremely big high point. He always gets the same person to score his films, Joe Hisaishi. Excellent score. I was humming it before we were going live here because it's a lot of good themes in that movie. Yeah, as you said, animation, very, very good. I actually found that I don't have a Blu-ray version of this. I only have a DVD transfer, and it's got. Yeah, I was realizing while we were watching it on the HDTV, I was like, this transfer has some issues.
I've got the Blu-ray. I think on the cover, doesn't it have like her with the white hair, but she's young? I think that's interesting.
So there was also another interesting thing is in that DVD, in the DVD when I popped it in, I was like, I went to do something, but when you pop it in, it starts like it was also when Disney had the distribution rights. So it was like Disney's Studio Ghibli collection, and it shows the ending of the movie. It literally shows like the scene "Wait for me" in the future. Like it shows that. I was like, okay, well, so I watched it with one of my housemates, and I was like, did you just notice that? And he was like, huh, what? I was like, because he was looking at his phone, he had no idea. I was like, okay. Then I'll just tell you right now, that just spoiled the ending of the movie. So because you didn't see it, it's no harm, no foul. But I don't know why that was there. That seems really, really bad foresight. So so yeah.
Also, is the witch just part of the family now? She was like there at the end, right? She was just chilling in the backyard or like the top of the.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Weird. I wonder if in the original book that like the witch gets like killed or something.
I mean, F the witch.
But there's three books.
How are you gonna be so bad and then you're just a part of the family now? Yeah. She's so grotesque too.
She is. I that's one thing that I've always really liked. I
do like the grotesqueness of her.
It's
just like there's so many folds and.
Yeah, it's like they always make the like sort of the old women in particular, especially because like most of Miyazaki's protagonists are also women, but he has the villainesses, the villains be women, and he always makes them beautifully grotesque. Yeah, is like kind of how I would say.
It's so noticeable. It's not just like an old lady, you know. It's like whoa.
Oh,
you can't help but have a reaction to what she looks like when she's huffing her way up the steps.
Oh my god, that's my favorite sequence in the whole film. That's my favorite. That is my favorite sequence of the whole film, just because it's so funny. It's like these two old ladies racing up the steps, and the guards are just standing there. No, we're forbidden from helping. So they're just like It's really, really funny. Another one of my favorite things is actually right before that, where Sophie's looking around because Howl's like, all right, well, I'm gonna disguise myself, so but I'll meet up with you. So she's like looking around. All right, who's he disguised himself as? and there's like a woman with like a man that like flies by, and so the
She's like,
woman's like
yeah.
laughing. That could be him. The
He's very
flamboyant.
flamboyant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always made me laugh. Really interesting themes in this film. Like it didn't even have to be there, but there's sort of like a distinct anti-war kind of vibe going on in it as well. The movie was kind of made as a response to the Iraq War, and Miyazaki's is a pacifist and did not agree with anyone being involved in that. So he wanted to. He actually even I think stated like I don't think this movie's going to do very well in America. Which is like I don't even think it was in that many theaters. So I also don't know who would get like upset at the movie for that.
Right.
I think those themes are far better explored in The Wind Rises, which is probably my favorite of the Studio Ghibli films. But this is one that I've always had a soft spot for sure. So if you had to give it a score, I know you weren't as keen on it. That's okay. I know I've talked with other people that kind of have similar point of view to you. So,
Yeah.
but I wanted to at least share it because I do love Studio Ghibli as a whole. And
Yeah, I would like to see all of them eventually.
yeah, there's only like 2 or 3 that I haven't seen. So very very big fan of the studio for sure.
That's tough.
So if you had to give it a score, what would you give it?
That's so tough.
It is tough. It's tough, and yeah. I mean, take the movie as a whole. Obviously, you can't. It's hard to like. It's hard for me because I'm thinking about it as a whole, and it's just like there's so many things that the movie nails, and I will kind of agree with you that the story is not always like the most clear, and if you do or don't like the characters, that's kind of like, it's that's kind of tough. So it's like, so how then do you judge the movie, right?
I don't know. That's why I'm
Yeah,
having problems. There's a lot of things I like about it, but
yeah.
overall, just like it wasn't like connected with the characters as much. 7 out of 10.
Oh damn, dang son, he's giving it a 7.
If
Giving
I could-
this film a 7.
If I could give half a point, I was between 7 and 7.5.
Yeah,
It's tough. I don't know, but I feel like Totoro I would give like a 7.5. It's like a little notch above. I don't know.
See, I honestly have a
could
hard time.
I could regret that in the future, but
Yeah,
this is based off of my initial response.
I honestly have an extremely hard time giving like point values to these films. They're after you. They're after you because you gave Howl's Moving Castle a 7. It's an emergency, all right. That's an emergency going on over there. Oh my gosh, what? You sure it's not snowing out there? What's going on out there?
I don't know.
Well, anyway. Yeah, I honestly have a hard time giving a point value to these films a lot of the time because I like them all so much. And I think I often get just so spellbound by how good the animation is, always, that sometimes the weaker aspects of the film sort of die down a lot in my eyes. I think I'm still gonna give this an 8.5 though. I'm knocking it down from like honestly I want to give it like a 10 or a 9.5, but
Oof, yeah.
it's not perfect by any means. I do think it is an excellent film. I think it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, maybe it'll grow on me more.
In terms of what his masterpiece is, that's obviously Spirited Away. Howl's Moving Castle is, he himself is a master. I don't think this is one of the best film he's ever made. I think his ultimate masterpiece was The Wind Rises. I think that was just an amazing film for so many different reasons, but this is definitely still up there. I mean, I still love this film very much. So,
all right, so that gives us a Tarqaron score of what, 7.75?
Yeah, 7.75. Dang, Howl's Moving Castle not getting knocked in there.
I'm sorry. I mean, it's tough. It's tough when you bring the ones you love into
Yeah, it is. It's
into a
tough.
place
It's a
like
tough
this.
time.
Your hair looks like starlight.
Well, it did.
It did look like. Well, did it? What does starlight look like? It looks gray.
Yeah, I guess. Gray and
How does it
silvery.
look like
Silvery.
starlight?
Yeah, silvery and such.
I don't think it's starlight in that way. I guess.
Well, I guess you're just not as much of a romantic.
Uh, I like. I like romance. I like a good romance. I don't know.
No. I'm saying you are not a
I'm not
romantic
a
because
romantic.
you don't use
I don't
language
use
such
that
as
kind
that.
of language. Yeah, I don't think real people use that kind of language. So I mean, it's a fairy tale thing.
Yeah.
But like, would you ever say your hair looks like your hair looks like starlight? The first thing you say when you wake up and you see.
I mean, no, but maybe if it was the person I was affectionate to, and their
In their
hair did
heart,
actually,
and you went back in time.
and their hair actually did look like starlight, then sure, I would say something
Hey,
similar. I'm sure.
your hair looks like starlight.
Hey,
Just like you should
hey,
know.
yo, your hair looks like starlight.
Just like you should
so
know because it didn't before. So it's worth noting. All right, what would you recommend our viewers watch after they watch this review?
They should go check out.
One of our very many other animated reviews.
Yeah, they could check out our review of Frozen 2,
Frozen 2.
a film which, upon reflection, actually has some of the some of the problems of films that I was talking about in this review. I still really like the film.
What score did you give Frozen 2?
I think I give it a 9. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Might have been.
I don't think I would give it that now. I still really like it a lot.
You would give it less?
Probably, yeah.
Interesting. I give it like a 7.5, I think. Or
Maybe
7.
I didn't quite give it a 9. I don't remember what I gave it, honestly.
It's hard to say.
Yeah. But
You gotta
anyways,
go back, Jack.
yeah, check out a review. Maybe then you can find out what we gave the movie.
You find out we don't even know.
Find out. We don't even know. It was a year ago. More than that. It's like 2 years ago now.
All right, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to our podcast feed. Like the video. Leave a comment. Fuck. Push the notification bell. Follow us on Twitter at Tarqaron, TWO.